Friends, in this episode, we're going to share with you all the different situations where you can retain your priority date. And in some situations, you cannot retain your priority date. Now, stay tuned until the end so you get all the free tips. Friends, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states and all across the world, solving your immigration problem. Now, let's get down to it. We have received a lot of calls about, John, can I retain my priority date? My relationship has changed. Now, I just want to share a general principle in what I'm about to share. All these tips is that generally, yes, you can retain your priority date as long as the petitioner is the same and that the petition has not been revoked or terminated. So here's an example. If you're married to a spouse, we're under the F2A category, and that person was a resident, and then you got divorced, and then you get married again, maybe even to someone else, not the same person, you cannot retain that priority date. All these different scenarios could be obvious to some people, but hey, no shame. We're happy to answer the questions because we don't want you to waste time. And that's why we're here to have this channel and share these different scenarios. Now, another common one is if, you had an F2A category. And by the way, F2A is of spouse and children of permanent residents, and permanent resident being your petitioner. And when anytime they refer to children, that means a person who is under 21. Now, of course, most societies in civilization believe that 18 and older is an adult. But in terms of immigration, it's under 21. Okay. And by the way, if it's a step parent type of relationship, the marriage between the one biological parent and the step parent had to have occurred before 18 years old. So that's just different dates to be aware of. Okay, friends. If you're an F2A and your petitioner, who's a resident, naturalizes to become a U.S. citizen, that's even better news. Okay, that will change. Classification will change to immediate relative. Now, some people get confused and they think, oh, immediate relative, that means the visa's like going to be ready like right now. Yes, hypothetically, theoretically, by law, yes, the visa is immediately available, but there's still a process. That doesn't mean let's say you apply today, that you're going to get a decision next month. It still on average takes about 12 months, even for immediate relative classification, okay, if you want to call it that. So hopefully that gives you an idea. And the other immediate relative, the two other different types of relationships under immediate relative is the common one. Everyone knows about it if you're married to a U.S. citizen. But the other one is if a biological adult child over 21 is filing for a parent, and that parent can be undocumented. Now, whether you can actually adjust status in the United States and have your interview here, that depends on several things, but mostly if you're entered with a visa originally, okay? Or I mean, not necessarily originally, but the most recent entry, okay, with the visa. Of course, there's some exceptions, but we've covered that in a separate video, so we're not going to go into that right now. And so some people ask me, well, so how does it work if the petitioner dies? Can that be revived? And so there is a pathway through something called I-360. It's the same form that people file for VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, and this is for widowers, okay? So it's not always black and white in terms of whether you can apply or not. So you do need to consult with an immigration attorney to make sure that you can revive this old petition, whether it's terminated or revoked based on someone who's passed away. Okay, friends? That's a couple different scenarios you need to be aware of. Another situation is people ask me, for example, of the F2B category where the child, your biological child, is over 21 now, that you're F2B because as a petitioner, you are the permanent resident, right? But you as a petitioner eventually would like to become a U.S. citizen and apply for N400, be naturalized as a U.S. citizen. Just because you have F2B and whether it's a earlier prior date than F1, that doesn't prevent you from applying for naturalization. So that's a great thing. So let's say you're F2B and that's a better date than what would be F1. You can retain the F2B priority date. So that's a good thing. You can go ahead and file to become a U.S. citizen, of course, assuming you're eligible. Now, we do have a lot of questions. We get a lot of calls also about children of the beneficiary could be qualified for protection, to prevent from age out. So we do cover that in a separate video. months ago. We'll make another separate video about that. But basically, the government has a formula, okay, a calculation. So if you want to call us, we're happy to point you in the right direction. But a lot of times, the visa officer or NVC, because NVC is the one that needs to send you the invoice bill, totaling $445 per immigrant coming into the United States. It's another bill from the government. If it doesn't include your derivative children, okay, of the primary applicant, because on paper it shows they're over 21, there is still a way, okay? Don't give up on it. Contact our office. Our number is right here, 346-330-5888. And our cares team will call you within 24 hours of a business day. Otherwise, if you text us, of course, or you can fill out the form down below in the description box, greencardguys.com/contact us. By the way, friends, we do offer free 15 minutes preliminary discussion, but we're almost done with the show, but we'll share the secret code at the end. Please stay all the way to the end. By the way, if you're new to our channel and you enjoy the information we're putting out there, please hit subscribe down below and click the bell for all notifications, because we're putting out information, free tips, really every week. And we have a live show answering any questions as best as possible without going into detail. But that's every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Check that out, friends. Another thing, we do have Facebook group, okay, friends, Green Card Guys Academy, where people share information. So check that out as well, because we also share videos that does not necessarily come out through live streaming here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. All right, so we'll keep that going there. And so if you have any questions about whether you can be recaptured prior date, that's very important, obviously, because that could be a difference of several years, if not more than 5 years. So you want to contact us if you have this question. And here's the deal. We've had a couple people recently call us and say, John, my prior date shows this. And I'm like, okay, well, what all happened? Because it shows on this document that it's a different relationship. And you're telling me now that, someone's your petitioner has not become a U.S. citizen, or some other thing has changed in a relationship. So we really look into that. And then sometimes we have to be the bearer of bad news and say, look, we do ask, have you even tried to go to the next step, or has NVC contacted you? And they say, oh, no, NVC, National Visa Center, has not contacted me. Look, at the end of the day, that's typically what they do, but don't depend on National Visa Center to update you and say, hey, it's time to go to the process of the next step. Because who knows, maybe your email changed, your address changed, you forgot to update the government. The government's not going to ask you if you updated your address or contact information, right? So it's not their duty. You need to check the visa bulletin every year to make sure that your prior date is coming closer, and of course making sure if your prior date has changed because of the relationship with your petitioner, or your own marital status, of course. So friends, this is very important, because if it's been more than 1 year after your prior date and your prior date has showed up on the visa bulletin, that is big trouble. Big trouble, okay? There are very, very limited exceptions where the government would allow you to proceed on that case, but essentially your visa is gone, okay? If you have waited more than a year after your prior date shows up on the visa bulletin, okay, friends? So please check, if not every month, at least every year, your visa bulletin, and make sure you know which category you're looking at, okay? Please check it out, okay? Because we get a lot of calls where people have missed it. So if you are just concerned and want to make sure, contact us. We're more than happy to verify for you. And okay, friends, so here is the secret code. Here you go. It's a bottom left of your screen. You could have guessed it. It's Green Card Guys. But use that code to unlock the free 15-minute preliminary discussion. Okay, friends, and we look forward to it. Until next time, please continue wearing a mask.